Hey everybody, welcome to Goose's Disney. Disney. Fuck, it's no longer Disney.
Disney.
It's the Wrestling
Maybe,
Pod.
maybe
With
it may be Disney, right? If they buy it.
I mean, if they buy it, then we can. Then every episode will be a Disney. It could be the Disney Wrestling Podcast. No, this is Goose's Wrestling Pod, and today we're covering what do you call it? What the fuck is it? Oh, Wrestling. I'm about to call it Wrestle Quest.
This is a
Wrestling.
great intro, by the way. This is
What?
amazing. The great intro, by the way. This
Well, hold on. Before we get into that, because we didn't talk about it last week because we were recording before it happened. Jay Briscoe died about a week ago. Car accident, and his daughters were sick, and now they're doing better. Andrew Nebro, your thoughts on this
wait.
tragedy?
Did the I know one. I read that the one daughter she got like she broke her like spine. She wasn't getting like feeling in her legs. She get it back.
There's feeling back the last I checked, and then people stop posting updates because they're like, all right, that's good enough. All right, she's not gonna be like. I haven't
I
seen an
have
update in two
seen.
days.
Did you see
What?
the news? Did you guys see the actual local news coverage on it? I
No, no,
did.
no.
Yeah, yeah. It was what do you call it? He was like really loved in the community.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He was a fucking he was everyone that community. I mean, the school shut down the next day.
Well, he was not only was he a chicken farmer and a wrestler, but he was actually a coach. His
Mm,
dad was a coach at the school before him, and he also became a coach. His wife worked at the school. Everybody basically knew him, you know. And
hmm
yeah, it's 38, man, right? 38? Was he 38 or
Yeah,
36?
38. Really
Yeah,
sad, a
crazy.
tragic death. This we're recording this Monday night. I just watched Raw 30. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, when it goes on Peacock, watch that first hour.
First
Best.
hour.
It was the best hour of Raw since 2001. The next 2 hours were okay, but that first hour was like I didn't look at my phone once.
What was all the Uso stuff was in the first hour. Was the LA Knight thing in the first hour too?
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
then the rest of the show was all right, uh, but like the last 20 minutes was LA Knight. The first 40 minutes was all Sami Zayn Usos, and it was a really good storyline.
This Saturday is Royal Rumble.
That's right. Yeah,
This is the
and
last Royal Rumble. I mean, this is the last Raw before Royal Rumble. Yeah.
yes, and this is the last episode of Goose's Wrestling Pod before the Royal Rumble. This will come out Friday.
Who do you think is gonna
But
win it?
what?
Who do you think is gonna win it?
I think Cody is going to win. On the women's side, I think Rhea Ripley. Someone. By the way, I thought this tonight because I don't know if you saw, but Becky Lynch just basically got beaten up and they didn't have her match. Somebody has decided that they're going to make sure that Becky Lynch is not popular anymore, and they're succeeding because her pop when she came out tonight was so less than what it was. You know what I mean? They have decided. Someone decided that they are going to make sure Becky Lynch is not popular. I don't know who. I would say maybe Hunter, but they're really doing their damnedest because to make sure. I think Rhea Ripley's going to win the Rumble.
I wonder why they're doing that.
I think they get like. I think they don't want anyone to be bigger than the company like Hogan was, which we're going to see, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that's just stupid because
Yeah, that's stupid. You
he,
could always bring him back like a John Cena.
the WWE has always had that one person who has been like the real star. And that's kind of how it always works. And when
In
you
my
have a person who's hot, the company is like on fire. And
in my
Becky,
opinion, in my opinion, the company's always at its hottest when they have like that one big star and
yeah,
another guy who's like almost as equal as him, but just not pushed as much.
yeah. But the presentation of Charlotte versus Becky tonight, it's like they have decided that we're gonna make sure that you don't like Becky as much as you used to. But
You know, like
um,
when they had Hogan, it was like the hottest when there was also like a Macho
yeah, 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 yeah.
going up there, Rock and Austin. When there was Cena, there really wasn't like another Cena level type of guy,
I
and
mean,
I
well, I think Roman's a heel. They, like I said, the one thing that Triple H is bad at is booking good guys. But we'll see what happens after the Rumble because the Rumble is Sami Zayn's final test, and Also,
what does
Triple
that
H
mean?
is really bad at booking good guys. He's really bad at that
Um,
because
yeah, I mean,
ever since SummerSlam, Becky Lynch has been booked like an idiot.
what do you call it? I saw the clip where Roman was like, "Your final test is at a Rumble." I don't think it's gonna be a match. I think it's gonna be like what you're gonna do at the Royal Rumble.
I think if I was booking it, I don't think they're going to do it. The final test is you've got to beat the shit out of Kevin Owens so I can win the match. He doesn't do it, and then he goes on to win the Rumble. That's what I would do, but I don't think. But I don't think they're going to do that. So we'll see. But let's enough about modern stuff because it'll all be moot by the time we record the next episode. Let's talk about the Wrestling Classic. This
Mm-hmm.
was a weird show, man. Was this not a weird fucking show?
This was like the one of the worst WWE things I've ever seen. Possibly the worst WWE show I've ever seen.
Oh no, no, no. Trust me, there's worse.
Oh, because this was I was like comparing this against like some of the Raws we were watching during the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, the Raws were better. There were at least some points in the Raw that were somewhat entertaining. This
No.
or the wrestling was at least decent. Rest,
You didn't think I thought there was like a few good I thought the Dynamite Kid, all his matches were good.
I think we were watching two separate things, man.
You didn't like the
It,
Dynamite Kid's matches.
you mean these like 3 minute matches?
Yeah, I thought he was good in them. I thought like
I don't mean it does. No, no, no. The wrestlers might be good, but the way the fucking match is laid out, the way the
can
fucking
you
abrupt endings and shit like that is just so fucking bad.
can you
This,
imagine if this had been WrestleMania 1?
oh my god, I don't know how the company did not fucking fall apart after this pay per
Well,
view.
because they had it and then they just never mentioned it again.
So funny. I'm so glad this is like a one and done. That there is never another wrestling classic after this because
There is so much weird that the woman who basically seems like Vince found her at a bar and
yeah,
brought her like the woman that they had was horrendous.
this whole show, this show really sucked. I would put this really at one of the top of the list of like worst WWE shows ever.
I would say it's probably the worst show of the '80s. I'll give you that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. There was like I remember when this was when I looked this up. I rented this as a kid because when you look at the video box, you're like, oh, it sounds really cool.
It
And I was
sounds
like,
good. On paper,
what?
it sounds good. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder why I never watched. I watched it once as a kid, and then when I watched it, I'm like, oh, there's a reason why nobody rewatches this thing because
Mhm.
it really like I've never seen someone win a tournament and be less over at the end like Junkyard Dog on this fucking
Yeah.
show, and I've
This
never seen.
thing,
There's a lot of like. Here's the other thing that you can tell Vince is trying to get is seeing who else he could get over. He does a lot of like weird experiments with people. He doesn't push at 86, 87. Dynamite Kid, Terry Funk. He tries a little bit with them, and then I guess he decides at some point, no, I'm not going to push them. But
this
also,
show seems like something he had like no
did you
fucking
notice they
real
don't
like.
talk about Hogan before or after that match?
No, he had it's this show. This show felt like he had no real ideas for anybody, so he was just like, let's just throw everybody in a tournament. Lazy
Yeah.
fucking shit. The fucking matches were late. Dude, this whole fucking show sucked.
All right, let's get to it.
Anyway, this is what's crazy about this. This pay per view happened 7 months after WrestleMania,
Yeah.
and you can see like the effects of WrestleMania because of like how packed this fucking arena is,
Mm-hmm.
filled with people. They're just so excited, but to see the quality drop so much is just like this is just so ridiculous. It's like the guy got so complacent so fast. But anyways, yeah, it's we get a nice fucking graphic intro. It's weird. They say it goes WrestleVision. What's WrestleVision?
I think that's what he was going to call it I think he was going to call this was the first. Remember, WrestleMania wasn't at pay per view. You still had to go to theaters to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he thought when you order a pay per view, we're going to call it WrestleVision, and he abandoned that right after this show. I think
Oh,
that's what he was going to call the pay per views. Like, so if this had caught on, he would be saying like, this Saturday on WrestleVision will be the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean?
okay, yeah. It feels like this was the beginning of like when probably he started hating the word wrestling because wrestling is all over this fucking show. It's like WrestleVision presents Wrestling Classic. It's like,
He never calls anything wrestling ever again after this.
yeah, yeah. By the way, Wrestling Classic. This is definitely not a classic, and this is definitely not wrestling. I disagree with both words in this thing. And they also they announced that a fan is getting a Rolls Royce, which is so fucking weird too.
Yeah.
But I guess they were doing that to try to get people to fucking watch it. You have you have Vince McMahon Jr. and fucking Lord Alfred Hayes and a random woman named Susan Waitkiss.
Who
They're
we
the
never see
host.
before. I don't know because we don't have the weekly access to weekly shows. I've never seen her before or after this, and she seems like she's on drugs.
Yeah. So I don't know. She doesn't seem like she's on drugs. She just seems like
An
completely
airhead.
oblivious of everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're the hosts. All three of them are going to be hosts, and they actually go over the brackets because it's a 16-man tournament. The winner gets some kind of bullshit money. Susan, I had to look her up because I had never seen her before.
Mm-hmm.
Susan Wakekiss, there's no information on her. Nobody knows who she is besides her name. And I got strong, like, this is one of the women that Junior was gonna fucking harass later on.
I would
Vibes from
not be.
that.
I almost feel like Vince was having sex with her and put her on TV because she like said something like, "You know, I thought you were gonna make me a star."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like
He
I
was like,
got
"Oh, I'll
really
put you
strong
on
vibes.
the wrestling classic."
Yeah, I got
Because
really strong vibes. Like he had some kind of relations with her, and it was like, I gotta put her on to this, just keep her mouth fucking shut,
and I think
right?
he realized after this, I cannot put the women I'm fucking on TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just seemed like so out of place. Like she's just like, I know I'm supposed to just stand here and look like pretty and just
Wait,
like point at shit, but even
did
that,
you hear
she's
what
just like,
later on the show when he's showing off because they show a video where they're showing off the car and he
well,
says like doesn't the
we'll
car
get to
look
that.
nice and she says like I guess so like she
Yeah,
just kind of like
no, we'll get to that. That's much later on.
yeah
But yeah, she just doesn't know what to do. But yeah, she's a nobody woman. We get after they go over the brackets, we go with Mean Gene. They're still doing the thing where they're doing backstage promos, which I love. Mean Gene's first promos with Ricky Steamboat, and they're actually this is the beginning where they're gonna show you how they came up with the brackets, and it's basically there's that bingo ball, and people are picking things out. Ricky Steamboat, he picks Davy Boy Smith. He's like, "Wow, I got Davy Boy," and
he
next
calls
one
him
is
like a fine young man.
yeah. Um, Gene is with Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, and
Macho, by the way, Macho Man is the MVP of this show.
oh yeah, absolutely by
Yeah,
far. You know what's also interesting? This is 7 months after WrestleMania, and there's so many faces on this that were not at the first WrestleMania. You
yeah.
know, and Savage is clearly one of them with Elizabeth. I love his interactions with Elizabeth are so like they're gems. Or he goes
Oh, they're
like
so. You know
he
what the
has
thing about
Elizabeth. He has Elizabeth pick his number, and he's just like, "Do that thing." I love that. Do that thing. And she picks out Ivan Putski, and he goes, "What kind of a draw is that, man? You messed this up."
yeah he goes
And
like this is another you can't do right. He like shoos her
yeah,
away.
and
Dude,
like
the way
the
they told the line to like he probably beats her at home, but they don't explicitly say it. Because
yes,
you
I
want to
love
like
that.
Macho Man, then he's so fucking mean to this woman. It's kind of funny.
It's very subtle, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very subtle, and even if you know what's the best thing about these shows or these like promos with Mean Gene
So much
is I
the character
recommend
building.
people watch it twice. Watch it once and then watch it again just watching Mean Gene, who fucking sells these things. Because when this is happening between him and Elizabeth, the fucking like darting eyes he does, that Mean Gene does, it's almost like he's going like, ooh, this is a fucking little weird, right? Like it's like perfect. It's like it's
Yeah,
great. It's like that very subtle, like this guy's a slightly abusive person. It's fucking fantastic. Yeah.
yeah.
I love them, yeah. Uh, and then they have Mr. Fuji with Dom Morocco, also two new faces. And they
Well,
picked two other friends.
Dom Morocco, he wasn't at WrestleMania, but he was in that company for years before. I mean,
Okay, yeah,
he just wasn't at WrestleMania for whatever reason.
yeah. I guess he was I don't know, building his beer gut. I have no idea. But they pick Tito Santana, and Mr. Fuji fucking does that villainous laugh, and he's like, "Oh, you're in big trouble." I fucking loved it. Um,
We should dress
and
up
then
Brian Kim like Mr. Fuji.
what?
We should dress up Brian Kim like Mr. Fuji.
Yo, man, Mr. Fuji was just like a classic character.
I
I
love
fucking loved
Mr. Fuji.
it. Yeah, I loved it. Then you got Mean Gene. He's with President Jack Tunney, who's got like fucking fantastic double chin. And
Jack Tunney, by the way, both loses weight and gets way better as an actor. He is so fucking nervous.
yes,
You can tell he's never acted before on national TV years. He looks like he's gonna shit his pants. And then like later on, when like 10 years later, when he walks on TV, it looks like he looks very chill.
I can totally see why Junior picked Jack Tunney to play this president. He has like that president, like of a company look, you know?
Yeah.
And Jack Tunney is pretty awful in this. Like, I think you're right. It's just like his first time doing this shit, and he's going over the rules of the tournament with Gene, and he just goes, basically, the only rules you gotta win. And Mean Gene has to fucking correct him. Goes, well, if there's a draw because of time limit, they're both out. And he goes, yeah, sure, yeah.
Sure, whatever you say, G. I'm the president.
Basically, the only rules to win. They fucking idiot. Fucking laughed at that. Dude, Mean Gene was like so necessary in this company.
Especially when
like,
it's live.
Yeah, when people were fucking straying left and right, he fucking reined everybody back in.
He does that too. He does that too on the nitros when you get because I watched a few nitros. When he knew like there's a commercial break or like there's a time, he like will tell her, okay, get to the point. But like I think Juventud was battling, but you want to wrestle Conan, right? That's what you want. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Right? Like he gets them right to the fucking point.
Yeah, I wonder if is there any right now there isn't really necessarily a need for that, I guess, anymore because most
because they rehearse things.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking in AEW if they need anybody like that, but I don't think they do.
Shivani, every now and then you can see Shivani kind of like, all right, let's fucking go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This guy was Mean Gene was so good, man. I would say if Randy Savage is the MVP of this, Mean Gene is definitely like a honorary mention.
Yes.
All right. Vince McMahon Jr. throws it back to Gorilla and Jesse Ventura, who are the commentators. So as we go to our first match, Adrian Adonis with Jimmy Hart versus Corporal Kirshner, who actually gets a music entrance.
Yes, he had big plans. I think he thought he could replace Sergeant Slaughter and Corporal Kirshner, and he was very mistaken.
Yeah, I could see. He loves this like soldier fucking gimmick, which is like you know what, dude. To be honest, he got a huge pop when he came out. People fucking love this guy.
Yeah. Well, there was like a lot of vignettes for him, and he had an action figure. They really gave him a huge, but the guy wasn't that good. He winds up becoming Leatherface in FMW.
Yeah. So, Gorilla Monsoon mentions Adrian Adonis and Jesse Ventura being the East-West connection to former tag teams, and he actually makes a mistake. He goes, "You guys were actually like former WWF tag team champions with my co-commentator," and Jesse says nothing because he knows it's not true.
Yeah, it was Dick Murdoch, I think was.
But he doesn't correct him. He just stays silent. And then the fucking
I think you know what I think they were AWA tag champs.
They were.
So I think Jesse knows if he fucking says it was AWA, Vince is gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah,
they're supposed to act like those companies don't exist.
Yeah, so he just stayed fucking silent.
Yeah.
And what do you call it? There's this great part where Adrian Adonis, he has like a leather jacket, and then fucking the way he takes it off is like Jimmy Hart holds onto one sleeve and he just fucking like twirls out of it. And when he fucking, it's spectacular the way he comes out of it. But when he comes out, you see how fucking fat this guy is, right?
Well, he's fat, but he could move.
Yeah, but he's like, but doesn't take away the fact that he's fat, you know?
But he's still like, just imagine if he was in shape, how good he could move.
Yeah. So the finish comes when the corporal tries to. He has Adonis in like a vertical suplex position, and Adonis turns it into a jumping DDT, and then he fucking wins it. It was actually a pretty cool finish. I haven't seen something like that. I like the way it fucking ended.
Yeah, but I gotta tell you, this match completely buried Corporal Kirshner. So he must have already decided that this guy's gonna go nowhere because they thought if they were trying to get Corporal Kirshner over, this wasn't the way to do it. But it is what it is.
It was a quick match, but
Mhm.
I thought it was a quick match. By the way, is gonna be the theme of the night. That's why
Yeah,
I don't think any of these matches are any good. They're just too fast for you to get invested in any of it. Um, After the match, Mean Gene is interviewing Adonis and Jimmy Hart, and Jimmy Hart really stresses the fact that he's adorable. He keeps mentioning that Adonis is adorable. Remember, this is before he gets that gimmick, but
the
he's
the
already adorable.
transgender gimmick. I think
Yeah.
like they were building towards it, and I feel like Vince screamed at Jimmy in the back earlier. Keep stressing adorable because I'm gonna go somewhere with that. You know?
So I read a couple of things on this. So initially, when I was many years ago, I read Roddy Piper's book, and he said this was a punishment, the adorable Adrian
Yeah.
Adonis gimmick. But I was now when you read about it now, it was not never a punishment. It was because Junior was a huge fan of Adrian Street, who played a gay character in the
Mhm.
UK. And but Adrian Street's like already fucking 40 something by the time he has
Yeah.
WWF. He ain't gonna bring him in. So he has his own Adrian Adonis. So that's why he gave him this gimmick. And if you look, it's almost the exact copy of even the way he does his hair and the fucking some of the makeup as Adrian Street. And supposedly this was Adrian Adonis's like most profitable run.
Well, I mean,
So
I mean, he had an action figure as adorable
mhm,
Adrian Adonis. Also, like I kind of thought like it's not that bad of an idea for the '80s. Like it was different,
mhm.
and
And here's
age
another thing
it
too.
just see
Yeah.
this is what makes adorable Adrian Adonis scary is that he looks insane, he's fat, but then he moves really. He's a really good wrestler.
Mhm.
That's what's like if they that's the thing that makes like Adrian Street and Adrian Adonis so good is that they're really good wrestlers. So it's
Yeah.
like it just throws everybody, especially back then, it throws people off because they assume someone who looks like that is a sissy.
Adonis actually has one of my favorite moves that nobody does anymore.
Yeah.
If you guys watch his old
It's
matches,
not
he does this thing where
eating a sandwich in two bites. What's this?
well, that too, that's pretty good. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But secondly impressive is he has somebody in like hold like he's gonna do a running bulldog, right?
Yeah.
And as he's running and jumps, he fucking turns that headlock into a
Oh
fucking
yes, he did do that.
elbow drop. That's a beautiful fucking move. So he does a bulldog, but he elbow drops you in the back of the head. Nobody does that move anymore. I think it's a fucking sick move.
He was really a good wrestler, and no, nobody talks about him. He died in a car accident. I'm
Yeah,
wondering what would have happened
really
if he
young.
didn't.
He was like 33 or something like that.
Yeah, if he was still alive, I wonder what would have happened. I could see him becoming gold dust.
Here's the thing about him and this gimmick as well. If it was so much of a punishment and he hated it, even when he left, he was still doing this gimmick,
He didn't
right?
hate it. Yeah,
Yeah. So why would he have hated it, right? Like if he's still doing
he
it, it's clear that he didn't hate it.
all these guys hated these gimmicks until they saw their first paycheck, and then they never
Yes.
hated it ever again. That's what Jake the
Yes.
Snake said.
Exactly.
When Jake the Snake saw the number of zeros on his first check, because he was afraid of snakes, he learned to love the snake real fucking fast.
All right. So yeah. Anyway, let's go to move on to match number two. It's Dynamite Kid versus Nikolai Volkov, who sings the USSR national anthem. As he's finishing, Dynamite hears his cue. He fucking goes up to the fucking top turnbuckle. Volkov turns around. It's like the perfect turnaround where it's like
Yeah,
he it looks natural, and Dynamite Kid hits like a picture perfect missile drop kick right into the fucking upper chest area. He falls down, covers him. 1, 2, 3, Dynamite wins. The crowd goes nuts.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, it is what it is.
I thought this was the best singles match Nikolai Volkov ever had. I thought this was
It was memorable. It was memorable. Yeah, it was.
yeah, let me tell you, they were popping for Dynamite Kid. I was surprised. I was very surprised how much they pushed Dynamite Kid on this show.
Yeah. When I watched Dynamite Kid, um, actually, I'll go into it as we keep going on because
Okay.
he's gonna be coming on this, but he goes really fucking far in this fucking thing.
Yeah,
And
he
I'm surprised.
does.
He's remember he's only a part of a tag team at this point. You
Yeah, this is
know.
when Vince hated tag teams. He never goes this far in anything ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think because Vince is the commentator, by the way, on all the Dynamite Kid Tiger Mask matches that happen at the Garden. You know, and I think Vince was like, "Oh, I can make this guy something," and then the guy was just such a fucking asshole because this guy was a piece of shit. Like even in wrestling terms, he was a fucking jerk off. Vince was
I
probably
don't
like,
think that
"Fuck
was
this
it.
guy."
I
What?
don't think that's the only issue. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's clear when you watch his matches that that's not the only thing that's holding.
All right. Well, we'll,
I,
we'll
I
give.
believe you. I believe you. He's an asshole, and I can see how that can hinder him.
We'll
But plenty of assholes have also gone up as long as you have certain something, and this guy doesn't.
nah, he's like, but you know what? He's the type of asshole that if he did like an idea from Vince, he would just go to Vince, go fuck yourself, and like just over the top assholeness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mean Gene he interviews Macho Man and Liz, another great promo, and it's about Ivan Putski, and then we go to match number 3, Polish Power, Ivan Putski versus Macho Man, who gets his music entrance. Uh, Macho Man just like he loved climbing up to the top rope for no fucking reason. He
He
just
just
would
liked
climb
his.
up to the top. The match starts with him just climbing up to the top and just staring down at Ivan. Like he just does this a lot. He would do that. He would fucking take powders. He was just the king of like really long delays. But it just built people hating this guy's guts. He fucking spit at fucking Ivan Putski, and people like you hear the people go, "Oh shit!" Chase them around. Ivan gets and hits him up, and then spits back at Macho Man. People fucking go ape shit, and then they come to the finish where they're in the corner. Fucking Macho Man hooks Ivan's leg, so trips him up, and then he covers him and he puts his fucking feet on the ropes in the corner for Macho Man to win. This is the third time we've seen this finisher in 3 consecutive pay-per-views. We
Oh,
saw
okay.
this in Starrcade '84. We saw this in WrestleMania. We saw this. I hate this fucking
We
finisher.
almost saw
It's
it tonight. Dominic Mysterio almost won with this finish.
oh my god, why do I hate this finisher? I hate it. It makes the referee look so fucking stupid.
Well,
It's
didn't it get
I don't know
reversed
why
at
he even wrote
WrestleMania
it.
1?
What?
Remember that they reversed the decision in WrestleMania 1 with this finish. Greg
Yes.
Valentine.
Here's the thing. This finish, you're right. Now that you mentioned it, this finish is used all the time. What's his fucking name? Superstar Billy Graham. He won the WWF Championship from Bruno Sammartino with this same stupid fucking finisher. Why do they love this fucking finish?
I think because the heel wins without like there's an out for the baby face to be like you beat me because you're your feet on the ropes.
Yes, it's
Like
so
you
fucking.
didn't beat me clean and like, but the heel still gets away with it
I
without the
think it
baby
makes
face.
the I think it makes the good guy look stupid too because you're basically someone trips you, you fall, and they cover and you can't kick out. It makes you
I
look
think
fucking.
I think a lot of these old school baby faces would rather be stupid than look weak.
I guess.
Because I think guys like Ivan Putski and Bruno, who I was it Bruno who lost the belt, I guess. I think if
Yeah,
they're
they're
like
awesome.
if
Superstar.
he pins me in the middle of the ring, like I'm just laying there like a sack of shit, I don't want to do that. I'd rather Macho Man use the ropes to get me.
It's so okay. I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah.
At least that's a logical reason. So this is our first view of Ivan Putski and Macho Man. What did you think of this?
I mean, Ivan Putski, I think it was time for him to go, and there was some people on this show you could tell Vince was just done with them, and Ivan Putski was one of them. Like
Yeah,
when I think of Ivan Putski and Moondog Spot, they remind me of like the pre-Hogan era. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And I think he's like, hey, I'm all about the Ricky Steamboats and Dynamite Kids. I'm not about the Ivan Putski guys. Whoever like his dad liked, he was like, get the fuck out.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, you could kind of see like the old guard lingering around in this tournament with the new guard, right?
But they're making the new guard look like they're the new guard is making them beating the shit out of them, which is.
Oh, absolutely. At the end, the old guard's all
But
almost
that's
gone.
what need. But you know what? But that new guard, I mean, they
But
sold
that's
action figures and they sold VHS tapes. He had to,
but that's what it is. That's passing the torch. You just
yeah.
gotta. It happened to the generation before them, and it's gonna happen to this next generation and so forth. Yeah,
It does. Yeah, it does happen. Yeah.
it happens in sports too.
Eventually, fucking Davy Boy Smith's getting beat up by the Rock and shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, we go back to the hosts, and they got the brackets, and they're going over what's happening in the brackets. Alfred Jr. is asking Alfred Hayes on his fucking opinion on what's going on. He doesn't know fucking shit. And Volkov interrupts, and he's like, "I was robbed. The Dynamite Kid robbed me." He interrupts, and he's like, "Arr." You can't even understand what he's saying. It's pointless. Unless is there anything you want to add to that, or we're gonna go to match number 4.
No, nothing.
Match number 4, Ricky Steamboat, who doesn't get an entrance, but he gets a huge fucking pop at his intro, and versus Davey Boy Smith. They're wrestling. It's technical. It lasts for like a minute. Davey Boy runs at fucking Steamboat, who's on the ropes. Steamboat moves out of the way. Davey Boy crotches himself in the ropes. Ref calls a fucking default. Davey's injured, so Ricky wins by default. By this point, we've already killed 30 minutes of this show so far, and we've seen 4 fucking pointless matches.
Yeah, I was annoyed because I kind of feel like if you give Davey Boy and Ricky Steamboat time, they could have had like a semi decent match. And of all the matches to make this short, this one, because later on, fucking Tito Santana has 2 really long, boring matches. You couldn't give these guys 2 more minutes. I don't know. I was like really annoyed by
Oh
this.
my gosh, I didn't think anything was long on this. All the matches were really
Dude, the
short.
Tito Santana matches feel like they went on forever.
Oh well, I was thinking like, oh, maybe they're making these first few matches like really short because they're gonna go really long later on. None of these oh man, but I agree with you. This is one of those matches where I would have given more time. It was a bullshit ending. I could,
I just don't know I just don't know why Tito Santana got a lot of time for someone who doesn't do anything on this show, and I don't know. I would have gave these guys more time, but it is what it is. I mean, I guess if Vince knew who they become, he might have gave them more time. He didn't know that at the time. So
yeah.
yeah.
So Mean Gene is in the back. He's talking with Junkyard Dog, who is talking about the Iron Sheik was his opponent. And there's this really funny point where Junkyard Dog goes, Gene, I just want to say congrats to the Chicago. And then he stops. And Gene's like, okay. And he moves on. And you see a close up on Junkyard's face. And you see his eyes darting around because he knows, like, God, why the fuck did I say that? That made no sense.
I think he meant the Chicago Bears, and he forgot the team name.
Yeah,
I think they won the Super Bowl.
Congrats to the Chicago.
To the Chicago, yeah.
To the Chicago. Match number 5, Sheik versus Junkyard Dog. They're fighting, and then Sheik has JYD in the corner. Fucking the ref comes, tries to break him up, so Sheik shoves the ref out of the way. He turns around and gets headbutted by the Junkyard Dog, who covers him for the win. Another short, pointless.
Dude, this match was horrible. Somehow, did Iron Sheik and Junkyard Dog both get crippled between WrestleMania 1 and this show? They got so bad as workers between those 2 shows. They're like 50% a step off, both of them.
Maybe they're getting overworked at this point.
Yeah, Iron Sheik, I was like, when I watched WrestleMania, I'm like, oh wow, Iron Sheik's moving pretty good. And this one, he is so fucking slow. And this show, dude, they did an awful job with Junkyard Dog this show. They really exposed him.
He also
He doesn't do himself any favors. We'll get to when we get to the Moondog spot match. We'll talk about that again.
That's coming up real quick.
The one with Junkyard Dog. I'm not talking about the other.
Oh, okay. So Mean Gene is with Terry Funk with his manager Jimmy Hart. And Terry Funk, this was maybe one of the fucking best parts of the show. Terry Funk is chewing tobacco. He's fucking got chewing tobacco dripping down his thing, and he's speaking. And Mean Gene is just getting pelted with spit, or he's pretending to be so disgusted by this guy, and he spits chewing tobacco into the fucking camera. I'm guessing Terry Funk's gimmick is he chews tobacco at this point, which I think is fucking pretty good. We go to match number 6. It's Moondog's Spot versus Terry Funk. Terry Funk at the microphone's like, we don't want to wrestle me. Why don't we both go out and take a draw? He fucking takes Moondog out, fucking hits it from behind, tries to get back in. Moondog gets in, Funk doesn't. So Terry Funk gets counted out. Moondog wins. A waste of fucking time.
Did you notice that every 20 seconds Terry Funk kept saying Hulk Hogan? Do you think at this point Vince was thinking, I'll have Terry Funk and Hulk Hogan main event WrestleMania 2?
No. I think Terry Funk was just trying to fucking creatively for himself.
I mean, him and Hogan do have, by the way, they do wrestle on house shows and like Coliseum videos. So they did have a program. But it was kind of like, I don't know, I kind of thought he was also giving a push to Terry Funk, like a weird push to him too in the show.
Oh, so like when he fucking lost by countout like this to Moondog
No,
Spot?
but like he tried to outwit Moondog and then he gets outwitted, but then he still beats up Moondog and screams and yells later on. So.
I guess this is so stupid. I had to look this up. I was like, what the fuck is a Moondog? And Moondog, I was like, was this guy who looked like this, like fucking hairy and just fucking like look homeless and carry on a bone? No, Moondog was like a street fucking guy who was actually a composer.
Well, the Moondogs, the tag team of the Moondogs, they were really big in Memphis, and in fact, I listened to a Jeff Jarrett podcast about this, where Conrad tried to make this sound interesting. And Jeff Jarrett versus the Moondog was the Wrestling Observer Feud of the Year in 1992.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Moondogs, right? The tag team Moons, all three of them, or whatever fuck, how many of them there are. They took that name from a guy who was actually a composer. Birds to Men is actually a song you might know. You might have heard it. It's his. This guy was like, so when you see the Moondog the wrestler and you see what the actual Moondog is, it's like completely two different things. I don't know how they got this fucking slob with a bone.
I think in their minds, because he didn't name, by the way, the Memphis people named them. I think in their mind, Jerry Lawler and Jeff and Jerry Jarrett, I think they thought Moondog sounds like a bunch of hicks, because the Moondogs are basically like fucking hicks.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Hicks that don't live in society.
Yeah, that's what this guy is, Moondog Spot. But the actual Moondog was.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
It was fucking stupid. But they're named after this guy. Anyway, I hate Moondog Spot.
I hate the Moondogs. Dude, I don't know why. Conrad really tries to make Jeff Jarrett's life sound interesting. And he's like, really, you don't understand. In Memphis, everyone was scared of the Moondogs. And I'm like, dude, that's like telling me that, like, in Wisconsin, everyone shit their pants when the Bushwhackers showed up. Like, shut up, bro.
Why were they scared of the Moondogs?
I guess they were more hardcore in Memphis than they were in WWE. I don't know.
Oh, they might get rabies from them. Moondogs, stuff like the Moondogs, I feel like set wrestling back like 10 years.
Well, you're trying to tell me that the Moondogs were so fucking cool. I'm talking about Conrad. And it's like, that's why no one took Memphis seriously, because they're pushing the Moondogs in the 90s. People were fucking over that shit. You're not going to convince me that the Moondogs were worth. Yeah, you're right. To me, the Moondogs just feel like shitty 70s wrestling that I don't want to watch.
Yeah, it's the kind of wrestling, if you show a random person, they would fucking question you for watching it.
Yes,
I can't believe you.
They're like Jimmy Fallon, the Boogie Woogie Man. They're like shit that like
so low class. Oh, Anyway, Mean Gene is with Mr. Fuji and Don Morocco, and they talk about Tito Santana. And we go to our match number 7. Tito Santana, he is the Intercontinental Champion, but the title is not on the line versus Don Morocco. Don Morocco body slams Tito near the ropes. There is a bad camera angle, so you never see Tito's leg on the rope.
I really thought like, wow, they pinned the Intercontinental Champion clean, but you miss it that he had his foot on the rope or some shit. Yeah.
This is how stupid it is, though. The ref calls for it. They ring the bell, and the ref's like, no, it isn't. There's no announcement. Don Morocco turns around and fucking Tito hits him with an inside cradle for the win. Then the bell rings again, and you can hear a light bullshit chant from the
Yeah,
audience
yeah,
because it's stupid. That would make no
dude.
sense. If you ring the bell, the guy automatically thinks the match is over. If it's
Mhm.
not over, you have to like have somebody announce the match is not over. And people in the audience don't even know what's going on. If they're sitting up in the nosebleed, they can't see what's happening. They just heard a bell. This is so fucking stupid. I
Dude,
hate it.
for people that are like think it's new that Vince treats the Intercontinental Champion like shit, should watch this show because he's been doing it for his entire fucking life. Why would you put the Intercontinental Champion into this tournament and make him look stupid in 2 matches on the show? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Like
Uh-huh.
if 2 matches where the Intercontinental Champion looks like a complete moron, and then they start booing him. Yeah, you're right. They did chant bullshit. Tito was over, and you book him so bad on this show. At the end of the show, both him and Junkyard Dog are less over and from winning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think this was where it really showed that Junior does not like. If your only thing is you're a good wrestler, he doesn't like.
yeah.
Like you need to be more than just a good wrestler, and I agree. I agree. So Mean Gene's with Bobby Heenan. He's looking for new talent because he's got to get his revenge on Paul Orndorff. By the way, you know what's weird? Today on my YouTube, I got like a recommendation. I actually saw the Sunday night's main event from May of 1985 where Piper and Orndorff get into it and they
Break
fucking
up.
yeah, and they break up and Orton and stuff beat up on me. But basically, this is kind of like stemming from all of that. And we're gonna go to match number 8. It is Cowboy Bob Orton versus Paul Orndorff, and it is a DQ because what do you call it? Orndorff has like a fucking cast, but
No,
it's like made
Orton.
out of
Orton has the cast. Yeah.
Orton, sorry, has a cast and it's like made out of paper or whatever. But if he turns it, it's all of a sudden devastating. And then he just fucking whacks Orndorff in the head with it. It's a DQ, but it's like right in front of the referee. It's so stupid. But anyway, that's the end of the first fucking hour. What
Yeah.
did you
Let
think of
me.
this?
I hate Paul Orndorff as a baby face. I think he's so much better as a
Yeah,
heel. He does like
yeah,
these goofy dances. Do you see like he does this
yeah.
thing with
He
his
does that
leg?
stupid fucking NWA fucking like
Yeah.
that
He's
that
so
fucking that Parkinson's fucking wrestling.
Yeah, he's so much better as a heel, Orndorff.
Yes, he is. You
Mm-hmm.
know what? Here's speaking of NWA. If this show, it feels like it was produced and run by the fucking NWA. It's so fucking stupid. It's so bad. Everything about it is so bad. It's like I feel like the NWA ran this.
I
The
think
more I
yeah,
watch,
it's so like I think it was Vince being cocky about WrestleMania 1 and being over ambitious, and it's telling
yeah,
that he waits 2 more years till he tries a different pay per view besides WrestleMania after this. Like
yeah,
'86 is only one pay per view.
yeah. I think you're right. And maybe he got a little too cocky and he ate a whole bunch of humble pie off of this one.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I will say this about Bob Orton. The more I watch Bob Orton, the more I like him. He's
Yes.
just like a consummate heel,
Well,
you
you know
know?
what it is now that his son Randy's been wrestling for so many years. You see a lot, and now like I know Randy Orton's style like it's like I wrestle that style because been watching him my entire life. You see a lot of Randy Orton's in Bob Orton, and you're like, oh shit, Bob Orton was actually a really good worker.
I will say this. I actually think Bob Orton's better than Randy Orton.
Yeah, it's just that Bob Orton didn't get the push. Hey, okay, I want you to think about this. If Bob Orton got lasted as long as Randy Orton, he would still be in main events in 2005. Imagine how insane that would have
Yeah,
been.
that was insane. You
He
know,
did
like
wrestle in 2005 though, but he was an old man by now.
yeah, um, his hepatitis run. I
Yeah.
would say, you know what? The reason why I like Bob Orton, I think his wrestling is better than Randy, is because Randy plays the cool heel, right?
Mhm.
Which I don't really like. He's got to do these fucking flashy moves. Bob Orton doesn't do anything flashy. He's
Yeah.
just like, I'm the bad guy that is gonna do sneaky shit, and you're gonna get to wail. I'm gonna make the good guy look good. His job is to make the good guy look good, and he does a masterful job of that. I fucking
Yes.
love Bob Orton. You know,
Bob Orton and Drew Libro.
Bob Orton, man. All right, this is where it gets us getting kind of funny. I think this is where he probably. So do you go back to the host? Now we've done all the first. Remember, it's a 16-man tournament, so we just all the first round matches are done. So we go over to brackets, and we're back to the host, and you see Lord Alfred Hayes clutching Susan Wake.
Oh, it was so awkward. It was so weird. That was like, did they think that was going to be funny? Because it comes across as creepy.
Yes, it came off creepy, but I think Junior was like, this show is dying. We need to inject some kind of humor. And he asked Lord Hayes to fucking do that.
To grope a
spice
woman.
things up. Because you could tell for Junior, it's funny because he probably does shit like that. But it comes off so creepy. Especially knowing what we know, you know? And you're right. It comes off really
it comes off very, especially because you never see this woman again. And it just comes across as so weird and Alfred's enjoying it a little bit too much.
Yeah. And you know why I feel like he told him to probably do this later on was because in the beginning there's no sense of this at all.
Yeah.
You know, like that he's attracted to Susan at all or anything like that. It just comes out of nowhere. So Vince McMahon is going over the brackets. This part was funny too. He gets to the part where he goes to Junkyard Dog and who his opponent's gonna be, and he pauses at Moondog's spot, and he doesn't say anything, and he just stays there for a very long time silent, and then fucking Terry Funk comes in, interrupts, and starts going crazy. I could tell Terry Funk misses Q.
Yes. There's a couple of moments where the Q it comes later too when the car segment happens. There's a couple moments where Vince knows they fucked up the Q. You can see him get fucking annoyed.
Yeah.
You can see like the real Vince come out.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, we're fucking this up.
But this is why I was like, I feels like the NWA fucking ran the show. Yeah. There's like miscues, the wrestlings are fucking terrible. It's
but you can tell Vince after the show probably was like, we're never fucking up like this again.
Yeah. Just like the moment where he just like gets to Moondog's spot and he's like just stays silent.
Yeah, he's like, where the fuck is this? Yeah.
Fucking funny. I'm like, and then like I'm like, why did I was like, oh, because Terry Funk lost to fucking Moondog. Oh, so I bet you this is why he never fucking liked Terry Funk after this. He missed his Q, and he was like, you fucking missed your Q. Match number 9, we got Dynamite Kid versus Adrian Adonis. During this match, Jesse Ventura walks out because he got to go talk to Savage, whose match is coming up.
And that was weird too. Like this, you know what this also felt like? Can I tell you what this also felt like? This felt like if they had 3-hour Raws in the '80s, this is what it would have been like.
Yeah,
like
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
If they were forced, if you went back in time and USA was like, you're doing a live 3-hour Raw, we're gonna start a show called Raw. It's gonna be live for 3 hours. Start booking it right now. I feel like this is what the first step. This is what it would have felt like. It would, you know what I mean? Because they tried to have storylines throughout the show. It felt very much like a Raw. Didn't it?
The Wrestling Classic on the Peacock. It's about 2 hours and 26 minutes. So if you add commercials, right, this would be like a 3-hour Raw.
Yeah, it felt like a Raw.
It fucking like dragged like a 3-hour Raw.
It was kind of funny because I was like, it's kind of funny because like I don't know, it's just like because everyone thinks like the short matches and stuff was because of Vince Russo and the announcers like having storylines and stuff, but no, Vince already had this in his head in 1985.
Yeah. So in this match, so while it's happening, Jesse Ventura walks out. Jimmy Hart gets up on the apron, and then Dynamite Kid's kind of looking at him, and then fucking he gets put into an Akana roll by Adrian Adonis, but Dynamite pushes Adonis off, so Adonis fucking goes headbutts, slams into Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart falls, and then Adonis falls down, and then Dynamite covers him for the pin. However, Adonis's foot is clearly on the ropes, but the ref fucking counts to 3, sees the foot, similar to how he saw the foot, in on the ropes
This one
in
does
the
nothing.
yeah, and there's nothing.
Because
Dynamite
I think he
wins.
wasn't supposed to see the foot, and he did see the foot.
Yeah, this was
And he
stupid.
like knew the script said that I'm not supposed to see the foot, so they just like
Yeah.
hopefully the people at home won't notice it, but we did. Oh, by the way, did you notice one of the people with the when they were picking numbers? I think was Kevin Dunn.
No, I didn't.
Kevin Dunn is in the at the beginning when Ricky Steamboat is picking things out of the and when you watch the credits, he's the assistant director, so he's not the guy like he is now and he's been for like years. He's a flunky.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense because right now all the camera work is still very similar to like the NWA's camera
Yeah.
work. It's like grainy. It's not that WWE style of
No,
production you see yet.
but
So
yeah, he's an extra, and it was like, oh, there's Kevin Dunn. All right.
yeah, this match sucked too. By the way, it's stupid.
Really? I thought this was my favorite match of the show. Actually,
It's so fast, and there's nothing memorable out about it.
I
There's
just
nothing
thought they
memorable.
had good chemistry. I mean, look, there's not a lot to go with on this show, but between this and the Macho Man Ricky Steamboat match, I thought were the two best matches on the show.
You know what Dynamite Kid doesn't have?
What?
Charisma.
Well, no, because he
He
looks
has no fucking charisma, and
because
I
you can tell he's a piece of shit. You can
yeah
tell he's not a good person. He doesn't know. Like Hulk Hogan can hide, Vince can
yeah.
hide it. So many people can hide that they're fucking scumbags. He can't. He can't.
I, even if he never got injured, he was never going to go far in
No.
WWE. He was never. He just has no. It's like what's the equivalent? It'll be like it's like
He
it's
does the
almost
moves
like Cesaro in a way, but Cesaro has more charisma than this guy.
he
You
does
know?
the moves perfectly, but it doesn't matter. It's almost like yes, you probably are technically you probably are the most talented guy on this show. But there's a reason why we still remember Nikolai Volkov, we don't remember you. You know?
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what I
Because
mean.
Nikolai
So
Volkov is just he's a lovable guy. He's like a love. If Nikolai Volkov was still alive and he walked out tonight, the crowd would have went insane.
yeah,
If you were still alive, no one would care.
yeah, absolutely, and yeah, this is why I was like, Dynamite. That's what he's missing, man. So Mean Gene, he is with Jesse Ventura, and he's just like, dude, like, what's this thing? Why'd you leave here in the middle of things? Like, and Jesse's like, oh, I'm out there. I watch every single match, and I'm taking notes, and I got some notes that I got to give to Macho Man, and Gene accuses him of being a biased commentator, and he goes, no, I'm not biased. I put the call straight down the line. Great fucking little promo between you two guys.
I kind of felt like also they didn't. I think they still kind of had hope that Jesse might be able to wrestle again. They're building a
Yeah.
storyline for him in this.
Mm-hmm.
But until they realized, I guess in a few months that the guy can't fucking wrestle. But it does feel like they're building. It feels like he's planting a lot of seeds because he doesn't know where he's going to go for WrestleMania 2 yet.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
Yeah,
he's planting the seats at this pay-per-view to try
yes,
to see where
with
he can go.
Savage, with JYD, with Terry Funk, with Dynamite Kid, with Jesse Ventura. He's planning a lot with Paul Orndorff, even
Maybe even
with
with all
Roddy.
his fucking stupid legs on the rope thing. Like,
It was
oh, like,
kind of
hey, you didn't ever beat me. You had the leg on the rope, and I don't know, turn into some
it. It
storyline.
was very interesting that King Kong Bundy and Andre are not on this show.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Especially because knowing what we know, I mean, not knowing what we know about King Kong Bundy, that he's going to main event the second WrestleMania, that he's just not on this show, not mentioned. That's why I kind of feel like he had in his head that he was going to have either Jesse or fucking Terry Funk fight Hogan. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Or Roddy Piper again.
We're gonna go to match number 10. Ricky Steamboat, or as they call him, the Steamer. The Steamer versus Randy Savage.
Yeah.
These two are gonna have a classic at WrestleMania 3, but boy, let me tell you, no classic at Wrestling Classic.
Oh, I thought it was a fun. These two have really good
It's
chemistry
a
together.
fun match, but this is like
It's too short.
it's too short. And here's the thing: the finish comes when Ricky Steamboat has fucking Randy Savage in a back suplex position. Savage has brass knuckles in his fucking hand. Fucking pops him one, goes down, hides the brass knuckles, covers fucking Steamboat for the win. This is how fucking Steamboat lost to Tully on like Starrcade 84.
I know. They're repeating finishes
They're just repeating things. It's
from
so.
another company.
I'm watching. I think that's the benefit of me watching these things like 1 week at a time because I'm just like, they just fucking did this. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Ricky Steamboat, you're telling me he just a fucking dumbass when it comes to brass knucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it was what it was, and yeah, it's a little preview for what's going to happen at WrestleMania 3, but it was what it was. But poor Ricky Steamboat losing again. Anyway.
Yeah, man. Um, Mean Gene is with Moondog Spot in a promo
Oh, this
segment
was fucking
goes
horrendous.
that goes nowhere.
Even Mean
hate
Gene couldn't save this guy.
I hate this gimmick with a
I
passion.
do too. I do
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
this gimmick made me hate white people.
If somebody argues with me that Vince missed the boat on the Moondogs or Ivan Putski, I think I would I couldn't take anything they say seriously ever again.
Yeah, I would be
Like
like, you know, when you hear someone's like wrestling opinion on something and it's so fucking bad, like you just lose all respect for them. It would be like that. Like when I
honestly,
heard,
you know what I would have done? You know what I would have done if I was Vince? I would have had the Moondogs come out on Sunday's main event and have the Hart Foundation squash them into oblivion, and then you never see them again. That's what I would have done. That's how little I think of the Moondogs.
yeah,
Like the first time the Hart Foundation are on Sunday's main event in 1980 in the late 80s, I mean 85, dude, the Hart Foundation, just Jim Neidhart just beating them into a fucking ambulance, and then you just never see them again. Like they're just so fucking useless. And I don't ever want to hear anyone say like the Moondogs are legends or anything. No, not just because you're old and you wrestle doesn't make you a legend. All right.
yes, I agree. I agree. There's so much things in
The
wrestling
Mean
where,
Street Posse are better than the fucking Moondogs.
yeah, they are. Yo, they absolutely are. There's so much this shit in wrestling about like, oh, you gotta respect them.
No,
They've done no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to. Just because you were fucking in the business doesn't mean you're owed anything. All right. Here's the
fucking
thing. This is you hear this so much. We had this recently because Anna Jay was put through a table or some shit like that on AEW, and they were like, "You guys should appreciate what she's doing for her body."
Oh
No,
yeah, I saw like some
it was like Chris Jericho said it on that. Like,
yeah,
here's
yeah.
the thing.
And it's like,
No, no,
but
we do
it's
not.
like
And I'll tell you why. Number one, we never fucking asked you
yes.
to fucking go through the
I
table.
don't I don't want her to be put through a table.
No, we never even asked for this fucking match.
Yeah.
All right. So number one, that's on you. Number two, you're in the wrestling business. You decide you want to do this. If you fuck it up, that's not my fault. I don't have to appreciate it. That's like me. You know what? By your logic, Chris Jericho, I need to respect and honor and appreciate every fucking shitty indie death match because they're doing it for
Yeah.
me. No, it's
Dude,
stupid. When I see these fucking death matches, I don't fucking like it, and then I don't have to appreciate it. That's so fucking
dude,
stupid.
Tori Wilson got over, and she didn't have to fucking put herself through 9 tables and shit and almost break her fucking brain. And also, I think it's fucking borderline criminal to make Anna Jay do this shit because she's not good enough to do it.
Yeah,
And she overshoots it. Both her and the little blonde
Willow.
chick overshot their spots. You're putting them with Great Muda, and you're putting like they're not good at this, and I don't respect them. I would
No,
respect Anna Jay more if she was just like, I'm not doing this. I'm not
yeah,
trained for this. Also,
and
Sable and fucking Deborah got over without this shit. Why can't you get me over without doing
and
this?
so we don't have to appreciate things when you
Yeah,
fuck it up. And the same way, we don't have to appreciate Moondog's spot because he was in the business for fucking 20 years. Okay,
yeah.
you were in
I don't
20. You
care.
were in the business for 20 years, fucking stinking up joints. Okay, I don't need to
Yeah.
respect.
Like you stunk up this show.
Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, you know what? If you guys don't believe me that Moondog spot sucks, you should watch this next match. Match number 11, Moondog Spot versus Junkyard Dog.
This match
Here,
was hard. Dude, what? Okay, give the blow, then a breakdown why this match was so bad for WWE. Go.
there is no referee
That's number one.
in this ring. JYD goes in there. He headbutts him. He headbutts Moondog. Moondog falls down. JYD covers him, counts his own 1, 2, 3, gets up, and he leaves the ring in disgust. This match made me want to stop watching pro. I hated
Dude,
this fucking match.
this match. Let me tell you why this match was so bad. Number one, the referee, whoever the fuck it was, I can't believe a referee missed their cue to not be in the ring. Because there was no way they booked it like there's not going to be a referee, right? And
Mm-hmm.
number two, JYD, you saw when I was a kid, all I remember with JYD is he's this happy guy who dances, he's a guy you want to root for. And you saw kind of like that he's not a good dude. You saw him like really be pissed and break character. And why would you do that? On a night where they're kind of making you the next guy, you completely broke character and like he acted so unprofessional and
Was
what
it
a
because there was no
horrendous
referee?
what?
Do you think he was annoyed because there was no referee?
Yeah, I think he was annoyed because yeah, and I think he was like, "Fuck it, we're just moving on." I think he made the call. I'm just moving on. They probably said to them, "You have 2 minutes to get in and get out," and he's like, "All right, I'm at a minute. I'm just fucking ending this because the referee's not here yet." I think he made that call, and I think Vince went with it. But I guarantee you, when Jay Whitey went to the back, he yelled at everyone. It was like, "You
Dude,
guys made me look
I
fucking."
bet you Jim Crockett Promotions was watching this going like, dude, I can't believe these guys are
How
beating.
do you not? First of all, and I wonder whoever the referee was. I'm hoping Vince fired him after the show because
I wouldn't be surprised if he did
you
fire him.
made
Yeah.
you made both guys look really
Yeah.
bad. I mean, not that Moondog Spot's a good worker, but this doesn't help him.
Oh my god, this was awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was I can't this was some
This was
really
such a destructive match
yes.
because it hurt JYD so much, man.
It did. Yeah. And this is just like, yeah, so fucking poorly produced.
Mm-hmm.
Mean Gene's with Bobby Heenan. He talks about Randy.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Would it
No,
be
go
the
ahead.
equivalent of if there was a fuck up tonight on Raw and Sami Zayn broke his happy-go-lucky character and was just like going to like Roman Reigns and the Usos? What the fuck? What the fuck is this shit? And like he just leaving. It like completely shatters the illusion of who the Sami Zayn. You get my point? Like you
Yeah.
just
It
shattered
would
the
be
illusion of
like
who Junkyard
if
Dog
on
is.
Raw he was supposed to go through a table and someone forgot to set it up. So Sammy just drops a smile. He goes outside the ring, sets up a table, and then he gets up on the apron, just jumps through the table, and
And
then
then
just
gets
walks
back up
out.
and just like
Yeah,
yells at
it
like
would be
Paul Heyman and Roman.
like he just did it all himself. He looked JYD was noticeably annoyed because as soon as he did it, he just got up and just fucking
And you could
hightailed
say
it to
and
that.
like and you could tell the crowd like noticed it. They were like, "What the fuck?" Like,
Yeah, like he looked noticeably annoyed. Yeah,
yeah. If
absolutely.
you want to see like just
Who
if you
wouldn't
want to
be?
see the
I
reason why
can't blame him though.
JYD didn't reach the heights he should have, just watch this match.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't also blame him
I
for
don't
being
blame him,
annoyed.
but
Yeah,
also I feel like you kind of have to because there's kids there. You kind of have to stay in character a little bit. You can do the counting of the pin, but you can't act that fucking annoyed on camera.
you're right. Yeah, there needs to be a certain level of professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They're both wrong, right? Because
Yeah, everyone's
the
wrong.
everyone's wrong in this.
Yeah.
Nobody wins. Nobody wins from this. Yeah.
Nobody wins.
So Mean Gene's with Bobby Heenan, and he's talking about Paul Orndorff and Hulk Hogan. He don't like both of them. We're gonna go to match number 12. God, I fucking hate this too. It's Tito Santana versus
This
Paul
went on
Orndorff.
forever.
They're both good guys. And here's the thing: when they actually introduce Tito, you can hear some boos for Tito already.
Yeah, and I've never seen people boo Tito ever before or since. They
You
fucking hurt Tito in this show too.
You know what the thing is? I think it was happening even before the show because if you go back and watch even the first match, he doesn't get a large pop when they
Yeah,
call his name. His star was already fading, and this is the reason why. Tito, if you at the end of the day, he's just a good wrestler, like a
yeah,
dynamite kid, and he's Mexican. That's not enough, dude.
I
You
know.
know? Yeah, it's not enough.
Arriba.
Yeah, you can't just he didn't even do that until like much later, right?
I know.
It's like you needed something more than just be like, I'm a good wrestler and I'm good looking and I'm Mexican. Like, it just doesn't work. It gets boring.
Well, that worked in the old days because they would run the shows in all these immigrant towns like New York. So you'd have a guy come out. I'm Polish, and all the Polish fans would cheer. Or Bruno would
Yeah,
come out. I'm Italian, and all the Italians would cheer. And Pedro Morales, I'm Puerto Rican, and all the Puerto Ricans would cheer. But now we're playing to a global audience on the
Exactly.
WWE network.
It
That
also worked because there was a lot more Moondog spots around, so you fucking look better. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're getting rid of those Moondog spots. Now you're starting to show, Anyway, they're both good guys. So they both they fight outside in the double count out. It's fucking stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, this also made both guys look stupid.
You're right. Paul Orndorff is just a shitty good guy.
He's horrible.
He's a horrible good guy. Yeah, he just. It's like when
There's nothing to cheer about for him.
you know what it reminded me of? Like when Randy Orton was like when he was champion and he was trying to be a good guy the first run.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's just so unnatural. It's like so unnatural. It's just like, ugh. Or like Seth Rollins when he was a champion. He was.
Oh yeah, even now, like Seth somehow Seth's a good guy now because the crowd likes him. He's just so bad as a good guy. There's just
Yeah,
nothing.
Seth is better as a heel. Definitely.
Yeah, because these guys are like just naturally annoying. Like him and Paul Orndorff are just.
Who is somebody who's naturally like a bad guy can never be a good guy?
I think the Miz is one of them.
Oh, I
Miz
think
is
you're
always
right.
horrible as a good guy.
Yeah, you think you're right. He's just like you can't ever take him seriously as a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, like I can't. Like if Miz was a good guy, he's like Brock Lesnar. I want. Like it's just like it just looks stupid. It looks stupid.
Yeah. So we go back to the host and they're going over the brackets, and this time Alfred Hayes is actually kissing Susan.
Oh Jesus Christ! What a
It just
what a weird night.
it fucking looks fucking it is too much. And we're gonna go take a break from this stupid ass tournament, and we're gonna have Hulk Hogan versus Roddy Piper. This fucking matchup, it really takes a backseat to this entire tournament, and it shouldn't because
No,
they weren't this. The crowd was never more lively than for this fucking match.
and it's so
Piper,
short.
oh my god,
It's so short. There's no. There's not even a mention. This is the weirdest thing about this show. There's not even a mention that Hogan has a match. There's no like, and of course, Hulk Hogan's going to defend his title tonight. There's never mentioned when the match starts. The announcer's like, "Oh yeah, here's the Hogan Piper match, whatever," and it's just like it's like an afterthought. I just don't understand it. I don't understand how you treat Hogan in 1985 like an afterthought.
Yeah, I couldn't also believe that this was not even the penultimate match. Like it should have at least been the second to
Yeah,
last.
it happens so early,
Yeah.
and like, why wouldn't you have the Dynamite Kid match, then this match,
Yeah, it also
then
makes
Savage? Because here's the other thing that because when JYD beats Savage, he's beating a tired fucking guy.
yeah, because
At
he
least,
wrestled two Savage wrestles back-to-back matches.
yeah,
If you put this Hogan match if you sandwiched it in there, you also have the excuse that Savage had a break,
yeah.
right?
Savage comes across as the good guy, and JYD comes across
Oh my
as a
gosh.
lazy bum.
Yeah, really bad.
Because of the placement of the matches,
Mhm.
especially if you make this match longer. Because if Savage has an extended break, because Piper and Hogan have like a 15-minute match or something, then like I don't know, it would have serviced JYD a lot better. And oh man,
This
what
match
and
felt out of place too.
yeah, this wasn't that good of a match either. I've Hogan.
No,
Does
not
Hogan
even that.
even
I mean,
hold up?
it felt out of place of this entire pay-per-view. This entire pay-per-view sucks my balls.
Yeah.
And this match, like the crowd is going fucking bananas
Yeah,
for this.
because they want Hogan and Piper. They don't want this
Yeah,
other
but
shit.
I'm saying it feels so out of place for the rest of this fucking show.
Mm-hmm.
So Piper gets his fucking bagpipe entrance. Fucking people are already fucking revving up on this. They're just like, oh yeah, I'm fucking ready for this. Something on my chest or something?
No, I'm putting on Piper's shirt on.
Oh, is it? It looks. I can't really tell. It's just red.
Yeah, no, it's a weird, but it's Piper. Yeah. Remember,
Oh,
I'm wearing a shirt of a guy on the card every
right.
single.
You know what? You should point it out at the beginning of every show.
Yeah, I'm
I
wearing
forgot
Piper
about that.
today.
Yeah. It's really hard to tell. Can you come up to the camera a little bit? Oh yeah, I can see it now. I see the
Yeah,
words now.
it's supposed to look faded. That's the design.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. So Piper gets his bagpipe entrance. Fucking Mean Gene interviews Hogan. Even Hogan's interview, kind of his promo seems a little. It's still like got more juice than the other fucking people, but it's not full strength Hogan.
I mean,
You
knowing
know?
Hogan, he's probably like, why the fuck is Dynamite Kid wrestling after me on the first ever pay per
That's
view?
probably what he's thinking.
And
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if you show him this card now, he probably like, why the fuck? I don't understand why there should be no fucking pay per view where Dynamite Kid has a higher match than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So Hogan, every wrestler that's getting an entrance, they have these like fucking bodyguards around them because like the aisleway is so like it's so narrow. And Hogan's coming in, he's got these like young fucking bodyguards, and you can see the fucking smiles on their faces because they're walking with Hulk Hogan. They're like,
Yeah.
I'm fucking escorting fucking Hogan to the fucking ring. They just look so fucking happy. The crowd's going crazy. There's this great moment where Hogan's got the fucking belt and fucking Hogan and Piper do a tug of war with the
Yes, that
fucking
was
belt.
cool.
Just stuff like that, just little things like that. People are going crazy for it. This looks great. There
By the
is this
way,
match. Yes.
I thought this was a great way to show how a big guy can sell for a little guy.
Yeah. You know, you don't I always forget how big Hogan is, but when you
Mhm.
saw him in there with Roddy Piper and you just see how much bigger he is than Piper, and yeah, it just like but there are points where fucking Piper doesn't sell for Hogan at all. He just takes punches and just like he's punching back. But Hogan did a really good job for selling for Piper a lot,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
He,
Hogan,
you believe that Piper's tough because of what Hogan did for him.
yeah, and
Because Hogan
Hogan,
could have been like, this guy's too small. I'm not selling for him. But he
yeah,
sells for Piper. He makes Piper look tough.
hmm Hogan, like, he's really good at selling just
Yeah.
from his face. Something about his face, like, I think it's his eyebrows and shit. It just makes him look like he's getting so tired from the beatings he's taking. And then like when he fucking hulks up and his fucking like eyes get wide, it just like a total contrast. I think that's like
Did he
great.
Hulk up in this match? I can't remember.
He did,
Okay.
but this was so early on where they didn't get a face shot of him hulking up. They got the
That's why I
back
don't
of
remember
him.
if he
They
hulks
got
up.
the back of him hulking up, and I was like, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's a stupid camera shot. This is why they needed Kevin Dunn, right?
They needed
Anyway,
somebody.
there's a fucking ref bump, and then there's some chair shots by like so fucking
Orndorff.
Piper brings in a
Not
chair,
Orndorff.
some
I'm sorry.
chair shots.
Orton.
Yeah, there's some chair shots by both Piper and Hogan. Ref misses all these chair shots because he's like wobbly. He's getting up and he sees Randy Orton come and attack Hogan, so he calls for the DQ. They're both double teaming Hogan. Orndorff comes in, makes a save. Crowd's going ballistic. They don't care that it's a bullshit finish, but I care. This match sucked.
Yeah, this match sucked. So this is what we're also going to do in this podcast. So we're going to determine who like the real best of the real like goat of the goats is. And so right now, we're judging Hogan and Flair right now. As we get to, like further on, we get to like Bret Hart and Sting. We'll judge them. But right now, I would say Hogan and Flair are tied at 1-1 because Hogan had a good match at WrestleMania 1, a bad match here, and Flair had a bad match at Starrcade '83 and a good match at Starrcade '84.
Yeah, and so far, if you had me choose, like if I was like, which one is better so
Mm-hmm.
far from what you've seen, I would say Hogan's better than Flair at this point.
Yes.
But Flair hasn't turned on the juice yet. That's
We're
one
gonna
thing.
see what happens in Starrcade '85, which is next week. But we're gonna do this because these are the big shows, so we're gonna judge these guys. And it's hard to judge Savage on this show because it's just hard to judge him on this show. But when we get to like WrestleMania 3, we'll start judging guys like Savage. When we get to like fucking SummerSlam '91, we'll judge Bret Hart, and we'll see how many of their matches were good versus how many of their matches were bad.
Are we still going with like so far? The worst match I've seen so far is still the fucking Carlos Colon versus Abdul
Yeah,
the
that's still
Butcher.
the worst match. No,
What's what was the
yeah,
best
yeah.
match
That the
you've
second
seen so?
worst match is JYD and Moon Dog Spot.
What's the Yeah? Somehow that match is still better than the fucking Abdul the Butcher
You
match.
know why? Because like JYD doesn't start licking Moon Dog Spot's open wound. That just made that match feel like no, I never want to. Oh god.
What's been the best match we've seen so far?
I would say Rick so far out of these four shows, Ricky Steamboat, Tully Blanchard.
That was good. That was good. Yes, Star
Yeah.
Kitty for that was good so far. Yeah, yeah, because WrestleMania, it had some fun matches, but they weren't like as good as that match. You know?
I would say like WrestleMania starts becoming like a great match show at three. Like two, I like Hogan Bundy. A lot of people do. I like that match, but it's not. Again, it's not what people don't consider that like a five-star classic or anything. But I like that match.
So Mean Gene, he's with Junkyard Dog, and Hart interrupts. Jimmy Hart interrupts the interview, and he threatens Jay White. And then we're gonna go to match number 4. This is Dynamite Kid versus Randy Savage. So they're wrestling, and it's all right. They
It's
go up to
pretty good. At the finish was pretty good, especially for like remember
you know
because
what? I forgot. This was, I would say, the best match of this entire show. But to say this was a really, really great match is
no. But
not
the
it.
finish is very, it gives again the criticism of WWE in the mid '80s is, oh, the wrestling's not good. That finish was a very much like almost like a New Japan style finish. I thought.
Yeah, so the finish happens is they go up to the top turnbuckle and they do a superplex, not off the middle turnbuckle like Bob Orton does. They're at the both at the top. This is what we see nowadays all the time. But this is
Mhm.
like when you see them both go up to the top, you see people going ape shit in the audience. They come down, that fucking both slam. Savage hooks fucking Dynamite Kid's legs for the win. They even show a replay and they show, see, one of Savage's shoulders is actually up. So
Yes, and
he
they put
100%.
and Gorilla and Jesse really point that out.
Yes,
They
yes. And that's
really want, and that's really good. Like just so you know, because sometimes these new announcers, Michael Cole or Corey Graves, they don't emphasize the shoulder enough. You know what I mean?
mhm.
And
Yeah.
here, Gorilla really emphasizes the shoulder.
This was really good because it showed like, man, it could have gone either way,
Yeah.
but Savage was a little bit smarter, a little bit more ring savvy. Like I said, this was probably the best match of the entire show, but man, it's still a fucking short match, you
Yeah.
know?
I'm telling you, Vince entered this night thinking that one day I'm going to do something with Dynamite, and I think when the night ended, he was like, "Yeah, never mind." Yeah, never mind.
Because you
Yeah.
know what it is? It's like the guy like doesn't show any emotion in his
No.
face while he's wrestling. Randy Orton is like not Randy Orton. Randy Savage is like the complete opposite. Like even before the match begins, the way he like fucking darts around, like looking at the audience and then looking back at the guy, then just stuff like that is just like you could see his personality show
Yeah.
just from that. Like this is a paranoid guy. He's very paranoid in everything, and he's very and like he's very antsy. You can't tell anything from fucking Dynamite Kid. He just kind of so boring. I think he's a boring fucking wrestler. Dynamite Kid.
No, I think he's not boring. It's just that he doesn't tell stories. He just hits moves.
He reminds me of like Kushida. Like Kushida's a good wrestler, but he's so goddamn boring. The guy doesn't do
What are you
anything.
talking about, man? He likes Back to the Future.
Yeah. British Dynamite Kid loves dynamite and beating women.
Yeah, he likes the movie Back to the Future. He
Yeah.
watches it every day and then he wrestles.
Does this mean that they're bad wrestlers? Absolutely not. I think they're actually really good wrestlers. But wrestling is more than just a fucking like.
I
Oh,
mean, here's the important thing about Dynamite Kid. This is the important thing about Dynamite Kid that you have to remember. He was basically having a Rey Mysterio Kenny Omega match with Tiger Mask in the Garden in 19 like fucking 79, 1981, when nobody was having those matches
mhm,
anywhere in America. And he's doing it in the WWF, which is supposed to have the worst work rate out of any territory, right? In that
mhm.
era. And remember, this is before Hogan, this is before Bret Hart. And so the fact that he was having these matches back then is that's very important because if he doesn't have those matches with Tiger Mask, we don't see Kenny Omega wrestle fucking I don't know Serpentico on Dynamite.
Okay, no, that's a fair point. That is a fair
Yeah. So
point.
like, yes, I agree with you, but also he's the first guy to be doing things like this.
That's a fair point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. All
Yeah.
right,
Like
so
imagine if Kenny I'm sorry. Just imagine if Kenny Omega like walked out in like a 1972 wrestling show. People would be like, "What the fuck are we watching?" That's who Dynamite Kid was.
yeah, he's like an eye opener. Who's like a
Yeah.
okay. So Junior is now with Susan Wakekiss by themselves. They're somewhere. They're really fucking close to each other. Like,
Yeah, because Vince was probably like fingering her during the fucking
yeah.
Dynamite Kid match. Come
So he's
here.
talking about this is what you wanted to talk about. They're talking about giving away a Rolls Royce,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Have you ever been in one?" And he's like, "No, I've never been in one." And Junior goes, "Oh, maybe later on you will." And I was like, "What the fuck does that?"
Because I'm gonna fuck her in one, guys.
He literally is like, "Oh, maybe there'll be one in your future." It's like, what the fuck? So,
Mhm.
Howard Finkel, he's in the fucking ring with Lord Alfred Hayes and a bunch of dudes, and then introduce
But
every fucking dude.
but do
And
you he goes like we're gonna go to the ring, and then Vince I think he goes wait okay we're gonna show you the car, and you see how he got annoyed that he fucked that up that they're not ready for the ring yet.
yes, you're right. They did do that. He fucked up the cue. He threw to the fucking ring way too early. They showed the graphic for the fucking Rolls Royce,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Isn't it a beautiful car?" And Susan Wickens is like, "What? Huh? Oh yeah, is that a Rolls Royce?" She's
Yeah, she's like, I don't know, I
yeah,
guess.
she
Like,
didn't know
just
what a Rolls
nothing
Royce
you would ever
looked
say on
like.
TV.
Yeah, he was like, "Isn't that a classic looking car?" And he's like, "Huh? What?"
You gotta get, hey, you know what? You gotta give the NWA this. Their female reporter, they probably all were fucking, was way more prepared than this woman.
Oh my god, that girl will look that NWA woman is like fucking Renee Paquette. This woman sucks. This is so shitty. We go to the fucking ring, a bunch of, like I said, Howard Finkel's in there with fucking Lord Alfred Hayes, and they're introducing a whole bunch of fucking guys who have bullshit titles. You can tell people are so fucking annoyed by this entire pay per view, and they're so annoyed at this. Somebody throws food into the ring
Yeah, they're
during
booing.
intros. Lord Alfred Hayes, he realizes the crowd is going
He starts
antsy.
laughing.
So when he gets introduced, he fucking tries to like, I'm so glad to be back here in Chicago. Kind of like, like, hey everybody, like let's get the fucking juice going again. They announced the winner as Michael Hamley. There's these weird audio issues where you can hear like some audio guy who's not in the ring, but he's like, you can hear something
And you
like,
hear Gorilla go, come again? Like Gorilla's
yeah,
like
like
giving a cue.
I'm like, Jesus, this is like, come on, man. This is like Jim Crockett promotion shit. What the fuck
Mm-hmm.
is going on here? They go, let's cheer for Michael Henley. People are fucking booing. I could tell if I paid money for this show, I would be fucking furious.
Well, it's because like people probably really came to see Hulk Hogan. They probably didn't really don't want to fucking give a shit about Moondog's spot. They
No.
came to see fucking Hulk Hogan, and they're wasting 20 minutes on a car. When it's like if you didn't give, and also here's the thing: if you're gonna give away a car, at least because it's very clear they don't know where this guy is, the guy
Mm-hmm.
that won. Like Vince kind of says, well, hopefully he's watching. Like, so why would you give away a car to someone that's not there? Like you don't
Mm-hmm.
know where the guy. Like the whole point is maybe to have the guy react. Like, oh wow. Also, I thought about it. Like if I want a car, like right now, if WWE called me and they're like, "You want a Ferrari?" What the fuck would I do with it? Like that's such like an annoying prize. Like now I gotta get car insurance. Now I gotta fucking take it to the fucking mechanic. What did I really win? It's a shitty gift
It's probably Junior's car that had a lot of like
mileage.
evidence, DNA evidence in there, and he needed to get rid of it.
It's where Jimmy Snuka murdered some hookers, and they're like,
That's probably what
just
it was. So Mean Gene, he's in the locker room with Hulk Hogan,
oh,
and
this was bad too.
he's interviewing him.
No,
Paul
remember he
Orton.
says that let's talk to Paul Orndorff, and then Hogan turns around. Oh wait, I meant Hulk Hogan. Almost
Yeah.
like how could you not know that's Hulk Hogan?
Hogan's talking. Orndorff walks in and he fucking cuts Hogan off and he cuts a promo. It's not as good as Hogan's.
No.
He cuts a promo on Piper and Orton. Hogan tries to get the last word in, and Gene is trying to cut it off and throw it away, but he's got to get the last. It's just fucking bad. these two guys, I know that there was like supposed to be the friendship and then you turn them, whatever. But these two guys have no chemistry as friends. They're not like the
Well,
mega powers, you know?
like fucking yeah. Paul Orndorff and Hogan have a huge like run in late '86, early
Mhm.
'87. Um, but to me, because Conrad asked Eric Bischoff, how come Hogan didn't have a program with Paul Orndorff? Paul Orndorff already feels like an old, out of place character in 1985, and that's like his prime. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Like there, if I was Hogan, I wouldn't want to work with Paul Orndorff in 1995 either. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
The guy feels like an old wrestler in 1985. He doesn't feel like someone. He doesn't feel like a Ricky Steamboat or even a fucking Brutus Beefcake. He.
Yeah. Yeah. He kind of has like a throwback feel to
Yeah.
him.
And I
And
feel like his whole legend thing was because he was lucky enough to be in the first WrestleMania main event. But the reality is, no one bought tickets to see that guy. They were there to see Piper, Mr. T, and Hogan. They just needed a second body. You could have put anyone, and I'm not trying to be a dick. You could have put anyone in that match. You could have put fucking David San Martino in that spot. It would have been the same match. Sorry.
no, I think you're right. I think it's fair.
I don't
Um,
know why I'm like so like just taking a dump on Paul Orndorff today. He never did anything to me, but I'm just like
yeah, I don't think he's a bad wrestler, but yeah, it's
I
like
I, I
he's
just think
clearly when you put him next to Hulk Hogan, you see like it's just not like there's like just juxtaposing them next to each other makes
yeah
Paul Orndorff look so bad.
yeah
He can't cut as good a promo. He's got no chemistry with Hogan. It just doesn't feel like that friendship chemistry is there at all. Like I don't buy for a second that they're fucking allies. You know,
no no
and so we're gonna go to match number 15. This is the final. Savage
15
versus
matches in 2.5 hours.
yeah, dude. Yeah, these matches. Oh my god. Savage versus Junkyard Dog. Dude, Savage is like the king of the fucking powder. He loves going into the ring and then going outside of the ring, looking at an audience member, pointing at them, and then looking back at the ring, getting back at the ring, and go. I love it, dude. It
He's so
sounds
good.
bad. I get it. When the way I explain it, it sounds like it's boring, but when you watch it and you see how animated Savage is, his facial expressions, the way he stares, the intensity in his eyes, it just fucking works. The fact that
Sa-
he rolls
Sa-
into the ring and rolls out.
Savage to me, I think, really needs to be in the conversation for the greatest of all time
Yes.
more than he gets. I
Yeah.
I I real I deeply resent like when I listened to again Ric Flair trying to downplay him, and I want to say Ric Flair, no, no, I don't mean total offense. You can't. You are not even 50% of the worker Randy
Wait,
Savage
Ric
is.
Flair downplayed Randy Savage?
Yeah, he kind of always goes how Randy Savage like rehearse, and that's why he wasn't good. I don't give it. I don't give a shit if you want to rehearse. I don't care because I'm not there. You need if you need to do whatever you need to do to entertain me, you do it. I don't give a fuck that I don't know. William Regal's a better worker because he calls it in the ring. No, no, he's not. No, he's not. All right, whatever. It doesn't matter to me that fucking Savage handed Steamboat a script for WrestleMania 3. I don't give a fuck. He entertains me. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe he's so fucking good because he planned it rather than winging it in the fucking ring like half you goddamn losers like Bobby Eaton. Fuck, who gives a shit about Bobby Eaton? All right? Who gives a shit? Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah. Savage does his thing where when he's in the ring, he's kind of on his toes a lot.
Yeah.
And
Well, he
it's
moves like a
great.
panther. He's very
Yeah,
like
yeah, I love it. I love the way he moves. It's fucking fantastic. Anyway, this match, most of this match takes place outside the ring. It's basically Junkyard Dog gets hit, he falls down. Randy Savage like sneaks up on him while he's trying to get back in the ring, fucking clobbers him, goes down. There's a moment where fucking he Savage takes a chair and hits JYD with the chair right in front of the referee. There's no DQ. It's so stupid. Um, and then basically what happens, they somehow get back in the ring. Savage gets dumped outside the ring. The ref counts fucking 10. JYD wins by count out. So
because
fucking bad.
because Savage has fought so hard to get dude. And then they end the show right away. They don't even let
No,
JYD
they don't
enjoy
end
his
it right
victory.
away. There's a lot of stupid shit that happens.
Oh yeah,
So
they don't end it right away, do they? No,
no,
they
they
don't.
get me. They in the ring to interview fucking JYD, and it looks like there's fucking people throwing shit. And when they pan out, they clearly are throwing shit because there's debris in the ring. There's
Yeah.
debris on the floor. There's debris in the
You know what?
ring.
Because this finish, it made Savage at the end of the show. You're like, I want Savage to be the guy.
Yeah,
Like, why?
Jesse Ventura interrupts the fucking
Yes,
interview
he did. I'm sorry, I forgot
and he
all
gets on
this.
the microphone and he starts accusing JYD of not really being the winner. He goes, "You gotta buy. You gotta buy.
Yeah,
This
why
man
would
has
you
to
point this
wrestle."
out?
Yeah, he goes, "This man, Randy Savage, had to wrestle 3 matches. You wrestled 2 matches. How are you the winner?" And JYD doesn't have an answer for it. Instead, he makes like a face like, "Yeah, he's kind of right." It's almost like he's admitting to it, but his face, the fucking the hosts sign off on the show, and Susan finally gives Alfred Hayes a kiss to end the show. This was horrendous. Any
And this
thoughts on
dude,
this whole fucking ending? This is fucking
I've
stupid.
never seen a show that does more damage to your baby faces than this. Like
Awful.
JYD buried, Ricky Steamboat buried, Dynamite Kid, like so many of the fucking good guys. Even Hogan looks like an idiot at the end of this fucking
Mhm.
show. What were they? Oh, what a yeah! This was probably the biggest disaster. But you know what? This is the thing, and I think even Vince McMahon would agree to this. It's better he fucked up here than WrestleMania 2 or 3. Because if WrestleMania 3 went as bad as this, we might not be watching Raw tonight.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
This was like
It's
man,
better he fucked up.
a lot of people came out when they pan to the audience. This place is full of fucking
They
people.
left, yeah.
Yeah, and how many people watch this pay per view? A
I
lot.
don't know. I don't know a lot about this pay-per-view. I kind of feel like everyone has just forgotten it happened and they consider like people don't really talk about this show.
No, this was wow. There was
I think if they had
14,000
kept going,
people in attendance.
if they
Jeez.
had kept going wrestling classics every year and like they made it like their other pay per view, people would probably talk about it more. But the fact they never did another one and they just people kind of consider Survivor Series the real second pay per view. So like I kind of feel like it's just like this little oddity. But again, it's better for him to fuck up on this oddity because the first Survivor Series, while not that good of a show, goes off fine. The first SummerSlam is a great show. The first Royal Rumble is fine. It's better that he fucked this up than if he fucked up the other things.
I think that's actually a good assessment. Yeah, this fucking pay per view sucked, and
It was an
if you
embarrassment.
were gonna fuck up, you might as well fuck this one up instead of
Yeah.
the big one because the next one after this, next pay per view after this is WrestleMania 2, much bigger.
Yeah. If he
Imagine the fuck up a
if
much bigger
if
one.
the first Royal Rumble was as bad as this, there probably would never been another Royal Rumble.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then look all the fucking memories we're gonna.
So yeah, Wrestling Classic. I'm just looking up. It wasn't in like closed circuit like
It was the
WrestleMania.
first pay per view. Yeah.
So it's 100% viewed by less people, and it's also less attendance, far less
Yeah.
attendance. So even though 14,000 is a lot, and I don't know how many people ordered a pay per view, but it's still a lot less than what it could have been.
Yeah.
So that's good. You're
And
right.
then everybody remembers WrestleMania 2 because it was very ambitious. And while WrestleMania 2 isn't that great of a show, the big matches deliver. I think. I think the Battle Royal and with the NFL players and Hogan, King Kong Bundy, and the Dream Team and British Bulldogs, all with Ozzy Osbourne, all that delivers. So people remember that. So the ones that had to deliver. So you know, yeah, Andrew. Guess what?
Mhm.
Next week we're going back to the NWA Starcade '85.
Oh,
Magnum TA versus Tully Blanchard, Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair. Then the week after that, it's WrestleMania 2, King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan. Then the week after that, it's Starrcade '86. Sorry, Nikita Koloff, no Nikolai Volkov, Nikita Koloff versus Ric Flair, and then 4 weeks from now, we're doing WrestleMania 3, Hogan Andre.
All right, that was good. If anybody wants to watch Wrestling Classic, don't
Yeah,
do not
don't
watch
do
it.
it.
Do yourself a favor. Do not watch it. You do not need to watch it. It's terrible.
Also, how
Um,
do you not give Pipe? How do you have this many promos and Piper doesn't have one?
yeah. Oh my God, you're right. You're right. Instead, they have
Such a weird fucking,
JYDK.
such a
Yeah,
disaster of a show.
disaster of a show.
Guys,
Disaster.
if you enjoyed this, please subscribe, spread the word. On YouTube, our WrestleMania 1 episode is doing great. People are enjoying it. Um, yeah, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Goose's Wrestling Pod. Follow us on Twitter, Goose Wrestling Pod. Follow me, Ray Goose, and follow me on TikTok, Ray Goose Comedy. And Andrew Lee, don't follow him anywhere.
Don't follow me anywhere.
Yeah, he doesn't want. He doesn't. He's not a social guy. All right,
I am.
guys. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the Rumble, and we will see you next week for Starcade '85. Thanks, Andrew Lee,
Mhm.
bro.